Hey Meg, how's it going?
Hey, doing good, Bruce. How are you?
Good, good. I'm excited to hop back on here and do have another good conversation. Exciting topics tonight. I know we're primarily talking about the latest press release announcement of all of the details, the reveal of Disney Cruise Line's latest ship, the Disney Treasure. So we have a lot to dive into.
Oh,
Um, and catch up about what's going on in the parks and how you're doing. So I'm looking forward to hanging out tonight.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, we have a lot to discuss. I was watching, so yesterday they made that announcement of the Disney Treasure, and it just looks
Oh,
absolutely stunning. It looks so beautiful. I'm like ready to book a cruise. I'm actually wearing my cruise line t-shirt. I'm like, I'm ready for it. So yes, but we have a lot to dive into before that too with what's
I
happening in the parks. It's a good time to be alive as a Disney fan right now.
I know. Starting with that, let's just take a couple minutes about the latest going on in the parks. What are some of the latest videos on your channel? I know that you were recently over at Epcot's International Food and Wine Festival. You tried the pickle milkshake. It looks
I
like you
did.
gave a best and worst from different food selections at the festival. Why don't you give us like your top and your bottom food choices at the festival this year?
Oh, okay. So I still have a lot that I want to go through. I have like an ever-growing list,
So
but
this is just thus far then.
this is just thus far, yes. But the pickle milkshake, I say this in the video, like I really did enjoy it more than I thought I would. I also said if you were given the choice between pickle and chocolate, I would still ultimately pick chocolate as what I would gravitate towards. So it's not like I would necessarily rush back, like, oh, I need to have this. But as a fun novelty item, I enjoyed it. I thought in that
Nice.
regard, it was good. But other than that, talking about just the actual food offerings that I would go out of my way for, I would keep going back for. This year, I've had a lot of like surprising ones in certain booths that I've enjoyed in previous years, but this year I haven't enjoyed quite as much. So there's been a lot of things that have kind of taken me by surprise in that way, and the items that I'm like wasn't necessarily planning on getting, but then I ended up trying have actually been some of my favorite things this year. So ones that come to mind was actually Kenya. So there's a braised beef dish in Kenya that meat absolutely melted in your mouth. You literally didn't even need a fork or knife. Like
Oh,
it
that sounds
just
good.
was so good, just fall off the bone tender. And then also at that booth they had a shrimp skewer, and
Okay.
that once again was just amazing. It had some spice to it, but I'm not a person who likes a lot of spice in my food, and I thought it was just like the perfect level of it. Had a little kick of heat to it, but nothing too crazy. So Kenya so far has actually been like one of my favorite booths of the festival.
Nice. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And what would be your least favorite item that you've gotten so far?
The least favorite, and this one is so disappointing, and I'm hoping that this is going to change, but the smoked corned beef dish at Flavors from Fire. And I say this
Oh, I haven't
because
seen this yet.
it was my absolute favorite in years past. Like every year, it would
Okay.
actually sometimes take the top spot as being my number one dish. It's the corned beef. It's on the house-made chips, and it has like a cheese fondue on top of it as well, and cheese curds. This year, it just was lackluster. The cheese curds used to be like full-size cheese curds, and now they're just like little shavings. It's almost like someone just took like a cheese grater and just has like little shavings of cheese as opposed to the actual proper cheese curd. It's definitely
Okay.
been downgraded, and I give it the benefit of the doubt because I'm wondering, was it just the particular night I was there? Because also the meat was not the same. It was a lot fattier,
Okay.
and I ended up not being able to eat like most of it because it was just pure like gristle and fat. So I was
Oh,
very
yeah,
disappointed.
that's disappointing.
And because I've loved it so much in years past, so I don't know if it's one of those things. I still am going to go back and try it again and see if maybe it was just a one-off that night. That it was just how it was prepared in that moment. So we'll see. But that's been
Okay.
my disappointment so far. And I
Okay.
actually enjoyed the pickle milkshake more than that. So that was a shock.
That is on your recommended to try list.
I would say
Then.
so because it
Okay.
really it was good, and it's the novelty of it, getting to get that iconic photo of trying it and just getting to tell your friends, I once drank a pickle milkshake. I think it's a fun experience at this year's festival.
A snack to tell the grandkids. I once had a pickle milkshake.
That's really, yes, the fun of it.
Tell our audience where they can find your park vlogs.
Yes, so my vlogs are on my YouTube channel, Magical Meg, youtube.com/Magical Meg will bring up all my videos. I have playlists out there of each kind of category of video. But yeah, right now I have a lot going on with Food and Wine Festival, fall at Walt Disney World, so lots of exciting things.
Yeah, you always have a lot of great content on your channel.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's chat, talking about content. Let's talk a little bit about the exciting plans that we have just this weekend. So,
I'm excited.
this weekend and into next week, the 407 and Beyond is having a fam trip at Universal Orlando. So we're going to have a team of agents down there for trainings and tours and park days. And you, as well as Gina and Rick from our official podcast, Spill the D, and their videos are also here on our channel. You can go check those out. We will all be at Universal Orlando, which will include Meg's first time at Halloween Horror Nights, right?
I know. I'm like, I've been watching videos trying to, I guess, just anticipate what to expect.
Yeah.
I know. You can't anticipate it. I am excited for the food. That is something that I am very much looking forward to trying. I think even if I'm scared out of my mind, it seems like there's then amazing food and beverage offerings. So right. I'm excited. It's something at least,
Yeah, there are a lot of cool, unique items and food and drink. We're going to try to hit as many houses as we can and scare zones. I'm looking forward to The Last of Us, Stranger Things. So it's going to be a fantastic time. So while we're there, Meg, I know you and Gina and Rick have things that you guys want to accomplish from a media perspective. Probably a new resort tour on the 407 and Beyond channel of Cabana Bay Beach Resort, which is where we're staying. Maybe some vlogs from at least Halloween Horror Nights, at least. And a lot of fun content. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I am too. Yeah, I'm excited from a content perspective to get all that out there of both vlogs and also the Halloween Horror Nights content. That's going to be exciting. But yeah, for sure, it's going to be good. I haven't been to Universal in about 3 or 4 years, so it's been a long time. And I was only there very briefly for like a one-day ticket experience. So I really haven't had that much experience in general at Universal Orlando. So it's going to be good.
Meg, your channel and your personality is. It's Disney and it's magic and it's everything is great and look at all this stuff and I love that. And now it's going to be a seismic shift to horror Universal. And scare zones and all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think so too. Yeah, it's going to be good. I've been wanting to go to the event for a while, and I think we talked about this during one of our last live streams, but since I moved down here to Orlando, I haven't yet experienced Horror Nights, but there is just such a culture around Halloween Horror Nights specifically. Everybody here loves it. It's like a staple of the Orlando community. It's fantastic.
To go to Halloween Horror Nights. And even people that I know that aren't particularly into horror, or I've actually had friends of mine tell me oh, I hate scary movies. I hate anything gore or horror. And I'm like, well, then why?
Yeah.
Why do you like this event?
Meg.
Why do you go? And yet people are just oh, because it's amazing. It's just it's so good. So I'm very
Meg,
curious.
I'm one of those people.
Really?
I'm one of those people. I do not like the genre of that TV shows, horror TV shows, horror movies. I'm not. I don't dress up for Halloween. I didn't dress up as a kid for Halloween.
Oh,
I'm not a Halloween. I am the day after Halloween, right? November 1st is let's start Christmas music. I am big on Christmas. I'm not a huge Halloween fan. Not that they're mutually exclusive or anything, but to your point, I don't really like much about it, but I love this event.
That's so interesting to me. Like, that's why I think I'm just so curious to know, like, what is this hype? Like, it's very built up for me, so I'm ready for it. I'm gonna be terrified, but like I'm ready.
It won't disappoint, and you have to lead the team into one of the houses at least once that night.
Oh
on
gosh,
Sunday.
so I have to be the front.
You have to be in the front at least once. So everybody who's new to HHN on our team who will be there has to have at least one house where they lead the team through. So. Well, good. We're about 10 minutes in here, Meg. Let's move the topic of conversation over to the Disney Treasure. Main topic for tonight's conversation, and let me just start by so a little context to the Disney Cruise Line's newest ship. So they announced this a while back that this was coming. We knew the theme was going to be adventure. We knew it was going to be Aladdin and Jasmine. In the Grand Hall, Peter Pan and Hook on the outside of the ship. So we had some of those details. What we did not know were some of the details that came out in yesterday's video. And so if you're watching this and you have not seen that video, Disney Parks blog, and I think they had it on all of their social media channels, released a video, and it was probably about 15 minutes long,
it
20
was,
minutes
I think
long,
about
would you
like
say?
20, I think it was like 22
Okay.
minutes was the running time. So yeah, it was a really, like, they did a very like theatrical presentation
Yes.
of, this character going through the story of the ship, really, and like
And I
what
thought-
the spirit of the ship is about. So it was really cool.
Yeah. It was a nice presentation. It was still kind of it was like informative and entertaining at the same time, but it was also a bit of a teaser because there are still more things to be released about the ship.
Exactly.
So they're building the hype, but from the artist's concept art to the videos that they provided, and the manner in which they presented this video, I mean, the hype is real and it's legit. Like, they're not just trying to hype up, this isn't just another ship. It looks like it has a lot of fun things, a lot of new themes that aren't on Disney cruise ships today. And so, I'm looking forward to just diving right into the details. So, the Disney Treasure is the second ship in its class that is comparable to the Disney Wish. And so if listeners are familiar with the layout of the Disney Wish, it will be that same layout. And a lot of the aspects are very similar. In fact, 2 of the 3 rotational dining locations are identical from the Wish itself. But what makes the Disney Treasure different is the Disney Wish is whimsical, it's Cinderella themed, it's very white, clear glass, crystal, very magical. The Disney Treasure is centered on adventure. In fact, in the press release, they said adventure will serve as the architectural and thematic foundation of the newest Disney Cruise Line ship in honor of Walt Disney's legendary passion for travel and exploration. It's going to include adventure themes of adventure inspired by some of Disney's most memorable stories like Aladdin, Coco, and Zootopia. So Meg, let me get your thoughts on this shift from the magical Cinderella ship to the adventure Pixar, Star Wars, Marvel ship in the Treasure.
I love it. Like, as soon as they announced the very first like little glimpse that we had of just the lobby, and you instantly saw that there was the like gem or like jewel tones, a little bit darker in contrast to the white, very princessy Cinderella themed Disney Wish. I was very excited about this. I like that they didn't just kind of like copy paste the Wish. They want to do something entirely different. And I feel like that it's going to make it that the ship in and of itself is a destination. That it's like, okay, I've done a sailing on the Wish, but like the next time, you might want to try the Treasure just to experience the differences and to just appreciate the beauty of this gorgeous ship for itself. And I love that it really seems even just so different from the other 4 ships that we have.
Right.
It's just very different altogether. So I'm just very thrilled. I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Let's continue the similarities of the Wish. And so, for those who don't know, guests on board Disney Cruise Line experience what they call rotational dining. And so you rotate between 3 different restaurants for dinner. And what the nice thing about that is that the service staff follows you from location to location. So you keep the same staff as you rotate dining locations. On the Wish, they have the Worlds of Marvel, they have 1923, and they have Arendelle, which I'll tell you what, the Arendelle, I was recently on the Wish a few months ago. 1923, very nice. Worlds of Marvel, very cool. But Arendelle was just like, you didn't even feel like you were on a cruise ship. You were just kind of like transported literally to Arendelle. But cool. So on the Disney Treasure, they will have Worlds of Marvel. And to my understanding, they're going to have a second show because the Disney Treasure will be 7-night sailings. So they'll have a second show in Worlds of Marvel, unlike the Wish. And then 1923 is the same. But what is new is Plaza de Coco, which will be the world's first theatrical dining experience themed to the Disney and Pixar film Coco. The story of Miguel and his family will continue where it left off on screen as they gather in the Mariachi Plaza to take guests on 2 nights of colorful, music-filled journeys that celebrate family, memories, and togetherness with festive dinner menus of modern twists of traditional Mexican fare and a lineup of live entertainment. Meg, I have been waiting for this dining experience for years.
I know. I think that the food, my head instantly goes to what is the cuisine going to be, and you're going to have that amazing Mexican flair. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be amazing. As soon as they announced that during the video, I got so excited. I think it's going to be like something we have not had before, like very much an immersive dining experience. The fact that you also are going to have that beautiful, like the music from Coco is some of my favorite Disney music of all time. So you're going to have that element going on. I think this is going to be a real treasure, no pun intended, for sure.
It's similar to the Arendelle dining experience because they have performers. But what I'm like really looking forward to is like the real upbeat music to that's in Coco and having that at a dining experience, and then also Miguel being one of their performers. I think that's going to be really cool.
It's going to be great because we really haven't seen Miguel as a meet and greet character. I believe he might sometimes in Disneyland for a special occasion, but not in this particular way, not in this format. So this is going to be very different. That I think just fans of Coco, you might have to just have a sailing just for this particular experience.
Now, Meg, I wanna turn over to you because I'm hoping that you have seen Zootopia, at least recently enough to be able to tell me who Jumbo is in Jumbo Sweets. Because I've seen Zootopia, but it has been so long that this announcement of Jumbo Sweets, which will have popular ice creams, gourmet treats, candies, that is for a charge. And is on other Disney Cruise Line ships, but this theme will be Jumbo Sweets. So do you know who this character is? And can you talk to some of the items that maybe guests can expect to find inside?
It's also been probably like maybe 5 years since I've seen Zootopia last. And I really like the movie, but I just have not seen it recently. So I do not remember who Jumbo is, but the thing that I keep seeing is that iconic popsicle that's like the paw print popsicle. I know that that's like a thing in the movie. I want to say that what's his name, Nick Wilde, the main character, I want to say doesn't he sell them or something, that ties into the story.
I don't know
in some way. Like I think that was at some point a part of the film. But I keep seeing that reference, so I think that's probably going to be that iconic treat that they enjoy in the movie that someone may or may not sell. I think that's going to be here.
I think that, with those photos, I think that if it's on the treasure, I think it's also going to be in the new Zootopia land out at, is it Shanghai that's getting the Zootopia land?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be out there too.
That's true. They're probably coming up with these concepts for treats and different things that are inspired by the movie, and yet thinking that they can use them in both places. That's a good idea, yeah.
And so I know, is it on the Dream that's Vanellope Von Sweets from Wreck-It Ralph?
Yes.
And on the Wish, it is Joyful Treats. I think it's what it's called, but it's to Inside Out, and so they're using these animated movies for the sweet shops, and they're always really cool inside and very unique to that movie's theme. So I'm looking forward to it on the treasure.
I think that would be cool.
Meg, what are your thoughts on the lobby? The lobby, I've heard it, being called, it's very blue. Gina and Rick talk about how blue it is quite frequently. It's much darker than on the Wish. It seems very nautical, maybe color scheme, maybe like walking into the yacht club a little bit. I know you've seen some photos of the lobby in the video yesterday. What are your thoughts on the aesthetic of? Well, and I call it the lobby. It is referred to as the Grand Hall. Right. So what are your thoughts on the Grand Hall?
I love it. I really enjoyed, like, when I saw those first couple images, even prior to the announcement from yesterday, where we really got to see more of it. When they just originally released the first couple pieces of concept art, I instantly was drawn to it. I'm a big fan of Aladdin and Jasmine. Like, I love the movie Aladdin. I love, one of my favorite lands actually in Magic Kingdom here at Walt Disney World is Adventureland. I like that feel. I like the jewel tomes, the golds, the treasure. So I instantly loved the images when they were released for this lobby. I think it's going to be very different, and that's something that I like about it, is that it is going to kind of stand out on its own and be special. It's not a copy paste of the previous ships that we have, so I really like it. Yeah, I know it kind of is like a love it or hate it thing because it is so different, and I think a lot of people who like the traditional Disney Cruise Line look, very clean, very sleek, it's going to be different from that, but I like it. I think it's going to be good.
I do too. Like sometimes in houses or in buildings, like lighter paints make a room feel bigger and darker paints make a room feel smaller. I love the aesthetic. I can't wait to see it. My only concern is it's going to make the Grand Hall feel smaller because the Grand Hall is not a huge space. On the Wish, and I imagine it's gonna be the same size here on the Treasure. So my only concern is that dark paint will make it feel a little bit smaller. But we'll see.
So then you don't have like that kind of like, oh wow, like that, the grandeur of it all in the Grand Hall. Yes, so that would be the one thing to think about. They do. It looks like they have those large columns that are white, so maybe the Imagineers have kind of thought about that to make it kind of some type of contrast there to give that perspective of the tall ceilings. Or we'll have to see. That will be something that I think it's going to be. You can't tell from an artist rendering. It's going to come down to when you're in person and looking at it. But that is something that I didn't think about that.
I think you're absolutely right. I think in person will be the only way to be able to tell, because as many artist renderings as we see or videos, they're just that. They're concept art or pictures. So there's nothing like experiencing it in person.
For yourself, yep.
So let's talk about the shows and the show production on board. So, each ship has Broadway-style shows.
Which is one of my favorite aspects of the Disney cruise, yes.
Me too. You know what? It's funny because the Beauty and the Beast show that they do in the Walt Disney Theater, and the same will be true on the Treasure, I really think is almost incomparable to a show that we have in the parks or anywhere else. The costumes, the set changes, the talent of the actors in the show. I mean, that show is fantastic, and Yeah, I'm with you. I guess I'm just talking myself speechless about
It's
the
Broadway
show.
caliber. It really is. Like, I had somebody say, when I said, "Oh, Beauty and the Beast," like on board the Disney Dream that I was on, and people are like, "Oh, don't you have that at Hollywood Studios?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no!" Like, it's entirely different. Like, Hollywood Studios. Well, yes, it's a beautiful production. It's not a Broadway caliber in any means. There's barely a set change that happens. They pull back a curtain and it changes slightly to what we're seeing, but this is to try to like explain to people, it's like this is a whole other level of quality. So it's like you do not want to miss out on seeing the productions when you're on the ship. That is like the one thing that do not skip the nights that Beauty and the Beast is on, like those big shows. You need to see those productions. So yeah, I'm excited that they're going to have the Beauty and the Beast show also brought to the Treasure, because it was my favorite on the Dream. And I love the fact that the theater itself has Beauty and the Beast touches to it, even when Beauty and the Beast isn't going to be happening in that theater, because they are also they tease that there'll be another new production
I
coming
want to get
as
into
well.
that.
Yes. But I like still that just the architecture, they decided for their theme to go with Beauty and the Beast. So it looked like the candelabras have kind of like that Lumiere kind of aesthetic to them. So I think that that's going to be amazing. I'm a big Beauty and the Beast fan, so I was excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I have 1 point and one question for you. My 1 point, Meg, is that, and I say this facetiously, I think you're being generous about the Hollywood Studios version of the show.
It's just classic. It's been there since day one.
It is time for an update.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm just teasing on that.
The best effect that they have is some smoke that comes out, and they wave a little curtain to do that transition of the Beast. But yeah, there's no wow moment.
Those costumes are like high school production worthy.
It is, and I remember too, like, I think I grew up watching that show in studios, so you kind of have like it built in your head as loving it a certain way.
Right.
But I remember actually after being on the Dream last summer when I took my first Disney cruise and seeing that show and just being so blown away by it, like a couple weeks later I was back in Hollywood Studios and watching that Hollywood Studios production, and I just remember thinking, oh wow,
oh my,
yeah, this is big downgrade.
Yeah, you can't leave a Disney cruise ship and then go watch that version of the show. So there will be a second show, and it's called another show, Disney Sees the Adventure, which I believe is a carryover from The Wish.
I think so. Yeah,
however,
that sounds familiar.
The second show that you are referring to will be another Disney IP, Broadway style production show. And so my question for you is, I have heard rumors, I have heard discussions online of people's speculation of what show that's going to be. I think it's down between two. Well, that I've heard. But what have you heard, and what will be your prediction?
Well, I'm really excited to hear what you're going to tell me that you're hearing speculated, because I honestly haven't read into any other speculations, but I have my own. What's yours? Yes, okay. I think it only makes sense because it is an Aladdin Jasmine themed lobby. It has to be Aladdin. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense in my mind. So I think that it has to be Aladdin.
I 100% agree, Meg. That would be my number one.
The only thing, though, is I'm trying to think here, has there ever been, and I might be reading way too much in between the lines, and maybe this wasn't even the way Disney intended it to come out, but I believe in their video announcement they said that it's going to be a production that has never been seen before. And I'm trying to think if Aladdin has already been on a Disney ship at some point in the 25 years of Disney Cruise Line.
Right.
But maybe I'm just reading way too much into that. Yeah.
Well, no, I think that's a great point. And that's a good attention to detail from the release. Not that I'm aware of, maybe. Let me tell you what I've seen online. Again, just online. Okay. This is not my prediction at all, but and I think this is more of what fans want. But they are expecting something Haunted Mansion themed, and there's speculation and discussion that it would be the second show. I don't know. I don't know if I buy into that. I'm sure they'll come out tomorrow and say Haunted Mansion is the show. But I don't think I'm buying into that. I think Aladdin makes the most sense to your point, but
especially because it goes more with the adventure theme. It's the theme of the ship. Like, I don't know how Haunted Mansion would go with their aesthetic. And also Disney's big on their musicals, and Haunted Mansion isn't a music. I mean, you have the Grim Grinning Ghost, but like they would have to create like a whole new playlist of Haunted Mansion music. So I can't really see that one. The other thing that popped in my head too is Tangled. Which I don't know. Is Tangled already a musical on a Disney ship? I don't.
Not that I'm aware of.
So.
Not
but
that
yeah,
I can
that
think
would
of.
be. I know that
Tangled
they have the show, or not so much the show, but the dining experience on. I think it's the. Is it the Magic that has like the Rapunzel theme restaurant where she sings there? But that's not the same as having an actual Broadway caliber production, an actual production show. So that could be. Good. I could kind of see those vibes. That's a newer age movie. I could see that.
You know what? I think that's a good point, and I would not be surprised if there's like a Haunted Mansion themed bar or something.
Oh, that would be cool.
Something different, or maybe But you mentioning Rapunzel, I got to thinking there are like some of the suites and concierge rooms, and the secondary like smaller theater for like some events during the day and activities is Lion King themed. And so since there's so much Lion King on the ship, Lion King is a show on Broadway and traveling. I don't know.
That would make sense too, because there's actually a lot that they showed in that concept that there's going to be some Lion King themed areas. So I could definitely see that being something. Also, the other thing with this ship, the whole spirit and the whole theme of the ship is adventure. Treasure hunting, adventure. The other thing I was thinking would be Moana, because Disney does a ton right now they love Moana. They love putting Moana IP on anything they can get their hands on. So I could see that. That would be true. And I mean, that goes with the ocean. I just kind of think that could fit. That just popped in my head right now. But
what if there is a dark horse candidate here? What if it's because Rogers the Musical just left DCA? What if it's Rogers the Musical? It doesn't
and they
quite
do
fit
have
the
Marvel
theme,
already represented on the show. I could see that. Yeah, there you go. Everyone said that was amazing. I didn't get to experience that, but
so when I was out there a couple weeks ago, I didn't get to see it, but folks did. And I did not hear one person say that it was not a 10 out of 10. Wow. In fact, Grace Parker, one of our vacation planners from New York City, she was there. She saw it. She texted me after the show, 3 fire emojis. Like, it was fantastic. So, I think that got really rave reviews. So,
Captain America is my favorite Avenger, so I'm
there
now
you go.
going through the Marvel franchise, so I can now say that I actually have a favorite. Yeah.
Good.
So I think I'm sad that I didn't get to see that, but maybe I'll get to see it now on the Treasure.
Exactly. Whatever the second show is, I'm confident that it's going to be fantastic. If it's anywhere near the production value of the other shows, especially Beauty and the Beast, then it's going to be terrific. So
absolutely.
Let's skip some of the kid zones that are there, and maybe we'll wait for some other released information in the future about them. But they're going to have some of the kids clubs, the Oceaneers club and stuff like that for kids, and that looks terrific. I do know. I think is the slide in the area going to be Alice in Wonderland? Is that right?
I'm trying to remember. I think you're right. I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But what I do want to talk about is some of the fun up on the upper decks. and that is going to be the Aqua Mouse. And so this is a inner tube ride that's just like the one found on the Wish, and it's going to take you up this tunnel, and there's going to be some videos playing. But this one is going to be themed Curse of the Golden Egg. So let me just read you a little bit of the description, and then we can chat about it. So it says, Curse of the Golden Egg will plunge guests into the world of Mickey Mouse animated shorts, which is similar, to this attraction on the Wish. Suspended high above the upper decks, powerful jets will propel two-person ride vehicles, which are inner tubes, through 760 feet of winding tubes, offering breathtaking views of the ocean and the ship below. On board the Disney Treasure, Aqua Mouse will introduce an all-new storyline that follows Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse on a zany misadventure into an ancient temple. Guests will journey with the pair as they embark on a tour of mysterious ruins for a glimpse of the legendary treasure within, and encounter a series of hilarious mishaps and booby traps that take the trek in unexpected directions. Which sounds a little bit like, you change out some of those adjectives, it sounds a little bit like Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but a raft ride on board a cruise ship.
And yet, this is really cool because I loved the Aqua Duck on the Disney Dream. But, it's truly just like you have the theming elements kind of in the queue as you're going up the funnel, and you see like Donald statues, different things like that. But they're really, once you're on board the ride, there's nothing that's particularly themed about it other than it's a really cool water slide that goes out over a cruise ship. Like, that in and of itself is amazing. But when they announced the Wish and they announced the Aqua Mouse, this is, as you explained, a more like a water roller coaster that it actually, you're moving through kind of on, there's a whole section where you're on like a conveyor belt and you're looking at these screens that are all around you. So it's much more of an immersive, almost like a dark ride, like a proper Disney ride, but then crossed over with a water slide. And so I've never gotten to experience the Aqua Mouse that is currently on the Wish, but it looks amazing. So I'm happy that they're doing another slide in that style here on the Treasure. So I think that's going to be really incredible to experience. And I like that they didn't just copy paste the same Aqua Mouse that is on the Wish. There's actually going to be a new storyline, which is really neat. And from their verbiage too in the announcement, I was wondering if they're going to actually have both, because they kind of at one point I think made some type of notion that there could be two different versions or different storylines that you could get.
Oh, I didn't catch
which
that.
I think would be cool, because at one point they were showing the picture that had, it looks like the same short film that they show on the Wish, and then also the banner for this newer storyline. So I wasn't sure if that was, maybe they're going to have both of them, and that would be cool, because then you could get some rewritability of wanting to experience.
That's true, especially on 7 night sailings.
Ride-throughs, yeah, exactly. But I definitely, regardless, I'm happy that they wrote a new storyline that more so goes with the theme of this ship, of its treasure hunting, it's Mickey and Minnie going out on this adventure. I think that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. Let's, with the remainder of our time, let's shift focus back to food and then talk about rooms and bookings. Something that you and I had chatted about prior to tonight's show was your excitement for the two newly themed bars on board the ship. The first, well, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to, you talk about them. You tell us these new themes and what guests can expect.
So, yes, I'm so excited for the first bar that comes to mind is the one that is themed after 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And Bruce, you have the release there. Do you have the proper name for
it is.
So it's a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea bar that you feel like you're in the Nautilus submarine. And
right. It
the
is
theming
called,
element is so cool.
Yeah, it is called Periscope Pub. It says it will be Disney Cruise Line's first venue inspired by the spellbinding adventure of Walt Disney's 1954 film 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And guests will dive into the mythical depths of uncharted ocean amidst the submarine-styled interiors and take a look at the watery world below through an intriguing glass ceiling. In addition to watching the latest sports games, explorers at the Periscope Pub will encounter a menu of craft brews and light bites. And you're excited for this one.
I'm excited for this one. Like, as a Disney park history fan, I love the classic 20,000 Leagues attraction at Magic Kingdom, just like that artwork, that theming. And I think the fact that, I mean, clearly this is a ship, so you have that nautical element. Like, I just think it goes hand in hand to have a submarine themed lounge bar. It works so well. And it also goes with the treasure hunting theme, the explorer theme. So I think that this is going to be very good.
I agree. The next bar is called Skipper Society. So tell us about Skipper Society and why you're excited for that.
So once again, I love that they went with another kind of like park theme of this one is actually themed after the Jungle Cruise. So it's the Skipper Society, and just looking at it, it feels like you're in the jungle, like you're in this little hideaway. And I think they're gonna have a lot of cool references, almost kind of like Trader Sam's. It seems like it's gonna be a variation of Trader Sam's that we have at the Polynesian and also out at Disneyland Resort, at the Disneyland Hotel. So I'm imagining some cool interactive things that are going to happen around you. They did show in the video that was released yesterday, one of the drinks looks like it's served in like a treasure chest.
Yes,
it will have a cool like smoking effect to it. So I think I think that's just one little tease of many interactive elements that are going to happen inside this lounge. So I'm excited for that one.
Me too. I think this is going to be where the Tiana themed bar is located on the Wish, because it says it's centrally themed, so I think it's going to be right there off the Grand Hall. But let me read the description from Disney on this one. Adventure awaits guests beneath a tangle of untamed foliage at Skipper Society, a centrally located outpost that will feature refined nods to the iconic Jungle Cruise attraction at Disney theme parks around the globe. The venue's natural colorways and camp-style furnishings, paired with slide tributes to the trusty, dry-witted skippers who lead world-famous tours across treacherous waterways, will offer an elevated yet playful atmosphere where guests will indulge in themed cocktails and light snacks. Sounds exactly where I want to be.
Yes. I think this is going to be the perfect spot just to relax. You have like some cool theming going on around, and it's going to be just like a nice hangout spot.
Yeah, and to your point about these two locations, they are throwbacks, right? They are park-centric, old classic attractions, and, the Jungle Cruise being a new movie, I think, ties in really well, not only to the adventure theme, but to what guests and fans of these IPs, want to see and experience.
Exactly. Yeah, I will always gravitate more towards the park-centric theming over the movies, which I know it's kind of a debate, but yeah, I love the park IPs. So that just this has me excited that they chose these two venues. And yet to that point, kind of going back to your topic earlier, I think the next ship needs a Haunted Mansion theme bar. That would be amazing.
That would be cool. That'd be really cool. The other adult exclusive areas are the dining locations, very similar to the Wish. Palo Steakhouse and Enchante will be there, including the Rose, which is a lounge at the entrance of Palo and Enchante. So those pay-for dining experiences that are adult exclusive, very nice. I recommend it. Beautiful. I'll post some photos on our social media of these locations so you can see them. Definitely worth it, but will be identical to the Wish, which is a good thing because they're really good. So and other another adult centric things on board. Senses Spa will be there, like on the other ships, as well as Senses Fitness, which is state of the art exercise and wellness facilities, which I've been on the Wish. And they were fantastic. So, anything you want to add to that, Meg?
So, yeah, I think we covered most of it as far as the lounges that are going to be different for this ship. And, yeah, I think it's going to definitely make it, once again, making the ship itself a destination and not just, oh yeah, we've already done that Caribbean sailing, but it's like, oh, you haven't done it on the treasure yet. That's going to be something that guests are going to want to experience, is just what the ship itself has, and these type of venues definitely give that aspect.
All right, before we get into booking dates and sailing dates and the information we have on that, let's talk about the accommodations and the staterooms. Did you see the footage or the photos, the artist renderings that they had in this video?
Yes,
they
were stunning.
Rooms, stunning, elegant,
yes.
Beautiful. I mean, I'm looking at it. I can't describe it, and I'm looking at it right now, Meg. The rooms are like standard staterooms, veranda rooms, themed to Aladdin. The headboard is fantastic. The carpet is beautiful, and the bathroom setup is stunning. This is modern elegance with Disney charm. It reminds me of the high level of detail and elegance to the DVC updated rooms at the Grand Floridian. They just look that high level.
They really do. Yeah, that's what my biggest takeaway. That was the part where I actually, like, my mouth dropped open during the presentation. I was like, oh wow, like, yeah, this is amazing. I would want to be out on that balcony, like, you know, getting room service and just like enjoying time in the room, because this is a room that you want to do that in. It's like you really can just appreciate every detail in the theming. Once again, that Aladdin and Jasmine, that was the thing that I loved. I also love the fact that they have some really unique suites on board, like those two level suites. We'll get to talking about that. Like, that's amazing. And there's one in particular that I am very excited for the theming of it. I'm sure you can guess which one that is.
Actually, why don't you go ahead and talk, because I want to talk about the concierge rooms. So why don't you go ahead and talk about the one that you liked?
Yes. So the one that I liked, they're actually going to have an Epcot themed suite.
Yes.
So right there, like, that's amazing. And that was something that really took me by surprise, because I didn't know if they would have, another like park-centric theming element, like to just necessarily put Epcot theming on board a Disney cruise ship. But I'm here for it. I'm so happy they made that decision. That right there is now like a bucket list stay for me, to actually get to stay inside that suite. And that is the one in the funnel, correct? That it's actually going to be built. Its location,
the one is in the funnel,
is actually inside of one of the iconic funnels.
Yeah,
so I think
steam
that right
stacks.
there is just so cool. The views that you're going to have out there, just absolutely incredible.
The other themed rooms that we can talk about, again, elegant, clean, remind me of rooms like light colored style rooms at Animal Kingdom Lodge, is the concierge rooms on board, and those are themed to the Lion King. I mean, stunning as well. I mean, I can't wait to see these in person.
They were beautiful. Yeah, and like you said, it's very much themed, like in still a very classy way, but it's definitely more elevated theming than I think some rooms that we've seen Disney do recently, that they're more very just bland, very kind of plain, couple touches here and there, but this one just seems like it's very immersive and just really beautiful.
So to close out, well, before we close out on our final thoughts, let's talk about how guests can experience and book their next Disney Cruise Line adventure on board the Disney Treasure. So the Disney Treasure will embark on its maiden voyage, a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Port Canaveral, Florida on December 21st, 2024. So we are only about, a year and a couple months away from the maiden voyage. That will be followed by an inaugural season of 7-night itineraries to the Eastern and Western Caribbean from Port Canaveral. So this ship is going to be 7-night itineraries from Port Canaveral. Really fantastic for land and sea vacations. So come spend a couple days at Walt Disney World, go relax on the Disney Treasure, come back, and do a day or two at Walt Disney World, and then head back home to complete that full vacation.
That's a perfect trip right there.
Exactly. And even though even though it seems like, oh well, December 2024 is far out into the future, it's not.
It's really not.
Bookings,
No.
yeah, bookings open up next week,
and they're going to go fast. They are going to go very fast.
So if you want to experience the Disney Treasure early in its inaugural season, which is the end of 2024, beginning of 2025, talk to a vacation planner now. Get on the list because Castaway Club Pearl members can start booking as early as September 12th, followed by Platinum on September 13th, making its way down to open to all guests to book Wednesday, September 20th. Now, today is the 6th, so we are 2 weeks away from all guests being able to book the Disney Treasure.
It's exciting. It really is. Yeah, this is, and like I said, they're going to probably sell out instantly. I know we saw that with the Wish, that it's just everyone wants to be a part of that experience. It's so special to say you were on the inaugural season, those first couple of sailings out.
And if you're like, well, you know what, I don't need to be on the one of the itineraries in the first couple of months. Maybe you don't get on board, you can't find the stateroom right for you or something. Maybe a good time to book on the Disney Wish. Because the focus will be on the Treasure for a little bit. So could be a really nice opportunity to experience some other Disney Cruise Line ships as well. So
that is very true, yeah. That's the exciting thing as we get more added to the fleet. It's like we have more inventory. That's then more so the times we start to see deals going on with the other ships, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, Meg, final thoughts on the Disney Treasure. Wrap up your thoughts for us.
I am so ready for it. I love that it's going to be sailing out of Florida, doing those 7-night sailings, which is something I have not yet experienced, but that is so high on my list because after having the 4-night sailing that I did on the Dream, it was the perfect amount of time to get to see everything. But I remember then thinking, oh my gosh, a 7-night would just be so nice to have them that relaxing. Like you then just feel like you get to do everything, but then you also just get to have time by the pool or just sitting out on the island like at Castaway Cay. So I'm excited that this is going to offer the 7-night itineraries. And just really in general, I'm excited that they've made the ship itself a destination that like you want to go on board to experience the venues that they're going to have, the offerings that they're going to have. I love the theming elements that they chose, and I really love the overall look. Like I think that the jewel tones, those darker navy tones in that lobby in the atrium there, I think it's going to be stunning. So I'm thrilled. I'm excited for it.
I can't say it any better than that. I'm excited. I think the reveal in yesterday's video was spot on. It drove excitement. It was informative. We still have more things to learn about this ship. And the fact that bookings open up here in just a week, I think it is really exciting. So to your point about the 7-night itineraries, however long a Disney Cruise Line itinerary is, I always want another night. It is so tough getting off that ship at the end of a vacation because the experience on board Disney Cruise Line is like none other. And so to have a new ship in the fleet, new themed ship with new experiences for guests, it's really exciting. And December of 2024 will be here before we know it. So.
Oh yes, it will. I'm very excited for it.
Excellent. So Meg, I think that's it for tonight. Unless you have anything left to add or talk about again. For those watching, you can find us on social media 407 and beyond. That's Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And Meg, why don't you remind everybody where they can find you?
Yes, my YouTube channel is Magical Meg, youtube.com/Magical Meg. I'm also on Instagram at Magical Meg Vlog, TikTok, Magical Meg Vlog, and then also on Facebook is just Magical Meg.
And I'll see you in a couple of days at Universal Orlando.
I know, my first time at Horror Nights. That's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be something for sure. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it's gonna be something.
Right, yeah. I'll tell you what, it is going to be good. It's going to be a great vlog,
Yes,
or reels or whatever content we get. Yeah,
it's gonna be
whether
good.
you like it or not, it's going to be good content.
Other people will like it, regardless.
Exactly. All right. Well, thanks for chatting with me, Meg. Have a good evening.
Thanks, you too, Bruce. Good to see you.